Welcome to another episode of Down the Barrel Podcast with Jimmy and Dino.
And sometimes Jared.
Down the Barrel Podcast is brought to you by the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association
and wolf.report. Wolf.report, a platform dedicated to elevating the voices of Minnesota hunters, trappers, and outdoor enthusiasts. Join us in advocating for responsible wolf management in Minnesota. Share your reports, photos, and stories, and together we will ensure that they are seen by all.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association, protecting the future of deer and deer hunting through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation.
Okay, today we're talking about ice fishing and why deer hunters make the best ice fishermen.
Oh, that's what we say.
Right.
Oh,
I think it's just about sitting around doing nothing, really.
I'm back.
Dean is back. He came back.
You guys thought you were going to get rid of me that easy.
You're right. We made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yeah, it was either death or come back. So you guys were hoping I was going to die, I guess. I don't know.
Did we say that?
Pretty close. Yeah.
I don't think we did.
We definitely thought it.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to kind of get it across that people would thinking maybe he died, and then I could make up.
Well, then I do know that you guys put out some feelers for somebody to take my place.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably take that ad down.
We should. Yeah. We got quite a few hits.
Yeah, we did. I hired somebody actually.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Dean bribed us with a bottle of bourbon to let him back in.
Right.
Yep.
It always works.
It does. I know the way to you guys' heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yes, fishing.
Ice fishing.
Ice fishing. Yes.
That's ice fishing.
Ice fishing is current.
Yes. And we recently just went ice fishing.
We did. First time this year.
Yeah.
Well, for me.
Well, it's for me too, honestly.
Yeah, Jared's been out a few more times.
Yeah. I've been out a few times, mostly going after crappies, but this was my first time going for pike. So.
Right.
Yeah, that was actually, we caught one. Jimmy caught one.
Right. Well, we did some tip-up fishing.
Yes.
Yep.
We did pull in a nice 33 and a half incher.
Yep. Would you say 10 pounds?
It was 10 pounds, almost exactly.
Yeah.
Beautiful fish. Tasted
was
delicious. I love going for some big pike.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you speared one the next day after that, right?
Yeah. Next day, pretty much in the same spot, I got a 36 incher. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
On the spear.
So, I mean, technically, you could call us pike experts, really.
Oh, yeah. Two fish in 2 days.
Two fish.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we only put in
there was only
6 hours.
There was only one of us who didn't get anything.
That's right. That's how it always goes, right, Dean?
I didn't even catch a buzz.
Yeah, that's horrible, dude. How can you call yourself an ice fisherman then?
I guess I'm not much of a deer hunter, but, hey, I take that back. I got a deer this year. You didn't.
I did not.
But you caught a fish.
I did catch a fish.
So see, we're even.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Sort of. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying is deer hunters make the best ice fishermen.
Some of us.
Yeah.
Some of you.
We're good at sitting around in the cold.
Right.
Yes. Being patient.
Being patient. Yep. Right. And we did some of that on Sunday.
And just staring into the abyss, whether it be a forest
right,
or an ice hole.
Oh, I better be careful what I say there.
Yeah. Ice hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely got to enunciate on that word.
Yep.
Ice hole. Well, I was going to say wet hole.
Oh.
But that can be taken badly.
Yeah, that can be.
Yeah. That's not my...
we'll stick with ice hole.
Yeah.
Ice hole.
So I did... I've never stepped into a spear house before until on... Sunday when we went. So it was pretty neat to look down in there. And I had to piss off the minnow because I just couldn't resist. He was too still, so I had to shake him. There's not, at least the one that we were in, there's not a lot of room. I didn't feel that comfortable looking in that. I don't know. How big was that square?
Oh, it's probably 3 by 4.
3 by 4. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was awesome to be able to see that much. But I didn't like how narrow the space where you sit
Yeah, that's a tight little dark house for sure. But yeah, I always think spearfishing is kind of the closest you can get to combining hunting and fishing.
Right.
Because it's a lot of sitting there and watching, and rather than watching the forest, you're watching the weeds and just waiting for something to come through and then take your shot.
And nowadays you have to kind of be picky and know what you're spearing because there's a slot limit on the pike.
Yeah, there are definitely some length limits.
Really?
Yep.
How, I mean, obviously you do it long enough, you kind of know, a rough idea of what
Right.
lengths are and stuff, but isn't it kind of, the water refraction, all that kind of fun stuff makes it a little bit more difficult?
It does. It's going to make them look bigger down there.
Yeah.
But that's why you got to practice. You got to kind of know what you're looking for.
doing, right.
Just make sure it's a pretty big one.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said you saw a bigger one.
I did
the other day.
Yeah. So I was out a couple days ago, and it had to have minimum 42 inches come in. And threw the spear, and unfortunately it was kind of tangled around my wrist and turned it off kilter and just missed him. So, but yeah, that was a nice fish.
Yeah, that would be. I would like trying the spear. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like just tip up fishing. That's kind of when I'm going for pike. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just excitement of seeing a flag pop up and running after it. And
then having everything break apart as you're trying to pull the line up.
Yeah. Well, that tip up was from like 1990s, man.
Right.
So it put its time in.
Yeah.
And it did die on a nice pike. I will give it that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it did fall apart.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. I know what you mean, though. I've done more tip up pike fishing than anything else.
Right.
There is something about seeing that flag pop up.
Right.
We do a winter trip every year, my family. We get between 6 and 10 of us out on this little lake, and we all have our 2 tip ups. And so it's a lot of fun.
Right.
It can be constant action, having anywhere from 12 to 20 tip ups in the water at once.
Right. That would be.
Yeah, it's a blast.
I know we used to, the guys I used to fish with, we would do more tip up in the later part of the season, closer to March, to where all you needed was your bibs and your boots,
right.
Just a sweatshirt because it was so nice out and tip up fishing. But let me tell you, it got a little bit crazy because everything's wet. You're
Right.
standing on water, which to me is just crazy. And then you're sliding, trying not to fall on your ass on your way to get the flag, and whatnot.
Well, that's kind of how it is right now up here. We don't have a whole lot of snow, so it's skating rinks out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no water, but
Right.
kind of the standing water. But it's pretty slick out there.
Yeah, you gotta have cleats for sure.
Yeah.
So obviously, being from Kansas, we didn't ice fish. If you did, you took an axe out in a pond.
Yeah.
And you chopped a hole in it. You tried that way with a big long rod or just a small fishing line. So I didn't ice fish till I moved up here.
Okay.
And I want to say, I don't remember if it was the very first time I went fishing or if it was the second time. But anyways, we went out, drove a car on the lake on Winnie. We went in at Nodak and we drove on the lake 3 miles up in there to where the flats are or whatever. And when we went there, it was, they plowed the roads and whatnot. And so, but there was still water on the road in certain parts.
Yep.
So of course I undo my seatbelt. I roll my window down because I'm freaking out, dude. I'm looking at the map. It's like, we are 3 miles out on this lake. And then we finally drill a hole and he had to put the extension on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were in, it had to be almost 3 feet of ice,
Right.
or it was pretty
3
close.
plus,
Yeah.
probably,
So, but that was just crazy to me to drive out all the way out there. And we caught a lot of perch. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we were fishing in 40 feet of water.
Yeah.
And just pulling these guys up. You could not get your line down fast enough. But that was pretty cool. And then he had a huge heater. That was a big flip over. And so, when we started, we had probably 2-3 inches of snow that we were standing in. By the end of the day, it was just pure water, 3 inches of water because the heater was on so high. I mean, we were pretty much fishing in just our jeans at that point.
Yeah,
But that was pretty cool.
I've been out where we started a fire on the ice.
Yep.
That is one thing
and it
that I
doesn't burn
haven't
through.
done. Yeah. I've seen videos and people do it, but I've never actually started a fire.
Yeah, we used to go out and do the same thing. We'd set out a bunch of tip ups across this little lake. We'd go up, pick a spot up on the shore out of the wind and build a fire up there and sit around. And when tip up went off, we'd take the snowmobile or the 4-wheeler over there and pull her up.
Yeah.
Which I believe we can no longer condone doing that.
The fire on ice?
The fire on the ice.
Yeah, I don't think we can. This was back in the 90s.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because of unless you clean everything up,
right,
which most people don't.
Right. Just adding all that carbon and ash into the water.
Right.
True.
Yeah. But no, we would always do that growing up too.
Yeah.
Back before we got learned.
Yep.
Right. Well, I think the problem with that was the bigger lakes. And
Yeah.
you get hundreds and hundreds of people out there, and people leaving stuff on there, half their damn house freezing down. So they're leaving garbage and all kinds of stuff. I think that's where that rule came from.
Yeah.
The little lakes I used to visit, there was never anybody else on. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and it was pretty cold when we were fishing.
I didn't think it was horrible, but yeah, it was nice to have a house
The
to
high was
warm up in.
3 below.
I think so, yeah, and I think it said it felt like negative 14 or something.
Yeah.
Of course, the sun was out, so that did help.
It did help. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were comfortable in the house, and I've got a insulated Eskimo, the 949i fat fish.
Right.
Yeah, I've had that for quite a while. Pretty
Yeah,
nice.
because we set up, because both of you guys had Eskimos out there that day, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a blue guy, so I didn't bring my, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to get the blue years ago, but I think at that time, I know I got it at O&M, and at that time, I don't think they had an insulated big house like that.
Well,
Or
yeah,
at
I think
least it
when we
wasn't
got ours,
offered
they
at
were
that time.
just starting to go fully insulated.
Yeah, because I know mine was kind of one of the first insulated ones, or at least the one that L&M had at the time.
Right,
So
right.
it's been pretty good, but it does suck to try to put that thing away when it's frozen.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't hardly get it back in the bag. And Eskimo, you need to add about 1.5 to 2 inches more. 2 inches is a lot. So you need to add more fabric and bigger zippers to these things.
Yes, definitely bigger zippers
I mean,
that don't
man.
bust in the cold.
Right. Figure out a way. I don't know what. Rope would work.
Yes.
Velcro. Although we get ice in the Velcro, so that wouldn't work.
I would, yeah.
Magnets.
Magnets.
Magnets, really strong magnets.
I would just
kind
a
of cool.
bag with a draw tight at the top.
There you go. Yeah. You don't need the zipper, just a drawstring bag.
Right.
Throw it right through the top,
Boom.
just like your
A
chairs.
nice big fluffy one, you know?
That would work because the one zipper, I think it only lasted about 3 years. And then the last one, actually, I was very careful with it till about 4 years ago. Then it finally,
Yeah.
the little handle broke. So, but yeah, if they just had a little bit more fabric, because there's a lot of times I just chuck it in the back of the truck. Then when I get home, you throw it in the garage or the shop to where it'll heat up, and then you can put it back in the bag. But yep, otherwise you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much trouble with my clam putting it back in there because they added a little more fabric, but I think it's the zipper pulls are the same thing.
Yeah, I think so. They probably get the zippers from the same place.
Yeah.
See, mine is a drawstring. So,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
I guess I didn't even pay attention.
Yeah.
It's still tight to get it in there, but
Yeah. And we've been fishing with, I know our insulated ones, when I think the coldest we fished was 30 below that time out on Hell Lake.
Yeah.
That was, we had the buddy heater on high and it was working.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't freeze, but it was, you could definitely tell that.
Yeah, it really sucked leaving that night though.
It did. That was bad. Luckily we had the vehicle to hop in that.
Right.
Although the night before it was 20 below and we just had a four wheeler and that really,
That was cold.
yeah, that was awful.
Mm-hmm.
That was no fun.
We did catch fish though.
We did. And then the next night we brought another guy with us and he's just bad luck.
He was bad luck.
Yeah, Bill.
Bill. Yeah.
so you prefer tip ups, Jimmy.
For going for pike, yes, I do.
So what's your favorite type of ice fishing?
I would say tip up fishing for pike is my favorite by far.
How about you? You know?
I like fishing for crappies
Yeah.
and, even perch. I mean, just right through the hole.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it all so much.
Right, walleye fishing is always fun.
I was going to say, I do love a good walleye jig,
Yeah.
Right.
but I've fallen in love with spearing.
Yeah. I know a lot of guys that
See
have.
that. Yep.
And
That's all my dad does.
yeah. And I've always loved tip ups. So, and I live on a pretty good crappie lake.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing wrong with crappie fishing. Walleye. I mean, it's all good. It's all fun.
Oh, for sure.
It all tastes delicious.
Yep. Yeah, I used to like on a lake where I lived, we had a permanent for quite a few years. And the father-in-law and I would set it up out on the lake, and we'd show up about a little after 6, get the heater going, get the holes re-drilled or chopped out. And because we just didn't leave the heat on all day, we didn't want to waste all the fuel. And so about 6:30, ready to roll, and they would just start biting. All of a sudden, your graph would just light up like it was Christmas, and you could not, you catch one, you pull it up, you couldn't get you're feeding the line down there. Mm-hmm. And I think we were using probably minnow heads, I think, at that time, but we just found this really nice crappie hole. It was about 30 feet, and you could catch them at about 24. And it was just awesome. But about 7 o'clock, 6:30 to 7.
Enough.
Then at 7 o'clock, boom. So you'd catch an occasional one after that. But by about 7:15, shut the house down. Away you go. You're home. Fish are clean by 8 o'clock. It was perfect.
Nice.
It was nice.
Yeah.
That is one thing about the permanent house was really nice. But the thing is you're not moving as much.
Right.
So you definitely got to put on a good spot.
Right.
Like we we on, the other day we were fishing. It's like, well, gee, I bet if we move, you had said if we move probably 10 feet that way or 20 feet that way, we catch. On a portable, there's a lot of work to do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you screw them down, you drill the holes, you set up, and it's cold outside. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, especially when you only have a handful of hours to be out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You got the full day, then you can move around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to do is I want to get up to Lake of the Woods and do some fishing myself.
Yes. I've never been up there.
Yeah.
I've been up there a couple times walleye fishing, and I had fun.
Well, and you said you have an old ice castle that you're trying to get fixed up.
Yep. I've been working on that for a while. I mean, we'll definitely take it up there this year. So
yeah,
that's my goal this year before the end of February is to get up on Lake of the Woods for at least one night.
Yeah.
In the ice castle.
We got to make it too.
It's that far drive. You really should.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get up there on like a Friday and you fish and you spend the night, Friday night and Saturday night, and come home Sunday.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
run the rattle reels all night.
Run the rattle reels all night.
Yeah.
Cook up some fish.
Yeah.
Have some fun.
That'd be cool.
You got a TV in that ice castle?
That one does not have a TV. You could put one in there pretty easy. It does have a microwave.
Nice.
I'm not entirely sure why.
Yeah.
But
so I had a buddy that we would go walleye fishing all the time. And he had a nice ice castle. Actually, it was an old, what do you call it? Airstream that he had converted into being a fish house. And he had a TV in there, and it was just tradition. Every year we'd go out, we'd get the line set up, and we'd turn on Grumpy Old Men.
Nice.
Watch Grumpy Old Men and
that's
jig
not
for
a
walleyes,
bad idea.
right?
Yeah. That would be cool.
Sounds like a plan to me.
I know we've got a buddy that's got a really nice ice castle, and he's got a couple TVs, and then he hooks them right to his depth finder, so he can watch that live scope or whatever.
Is it Justin or what?
Yeah, Justin's got that one.
Yeah.
I was watching a video of some guys up on Red the other day, and that's what they had. They must have had two cameras on them, so they had one on them as they're fishing, then the other one on the TV of their depth finder and stuff. So
I wonder if I could do that with mine. I don't think I can, unless there's some kind of adapter cable.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I would think there would be,
because I use a Humminbird.
That's what I was going to ask. So
Helix 7.
Helix 7, the ice.
Yeah. Well, the all season.
All season.
Yeah.
And what do you use?
I just have a, what's it called? Garmin ProFish 4 or something like that.
Okay.
And then the two transducers, one for the boat and the ice deucer.
Yeah. So
That's
you guys
kinda-
are all
That's kind of
fancy.
mine all season. Well, I figured
Mine's not fancy. It's really just a little handheld unit that I made a makeshift mount for it.
I just use the basic. I've had it since I got up here, the FL8.
Yeah.
tried and true.
Yep. And it works.
Yeah.
I still can't, it's too smart for me to try to really figure it out. I was like, okay, what do I change? And I don't know. It works. I can
just
see when
loud.
fish come here. It is loud.
The Vexilars are.
Yeah. Yep. They are loud. They've got that. And maybe I do know some of the newer digital ones aren't as loud, but yeah, those old
Well,
ones.
I had a
definitely-
28, and I can't remember if it was loud or not.
I've got a 20. My other one's a 28, and it's. I don't
How
think
come you
it's
don't
as
use that
loud
one?
because I gotta get a new battery for it.
Oh,
Yeah,
because that's a great one.
yeah. Pretty sure it's a 28.
That's one of their newer ones. I have an 18 at home. I use for a spare, but that one has
maybe
no
it's
two.
an 18, maybe it's not a 28 because it's still it's not the digital.
Well,
it's still
even the 28 is the round, but it's more digital.
More digital. Yeah. No, this is still the rate. So maybe it's an 18. An 18 is what I have. Yeah.
I like the Humminbird, but I have to get a lithium battery for it because it really sucks the power down.
Yeah. I need to look. I was going to look at my Humming because I've got a Humminbird on the boat, Helix 7.
Right.
So I'm assuming I should be able to get that whole ice system.
Yeah, I don't know because I don't know if it's loaded with the correct software to switch between soft water and hard water.
It might not be. That is something I'll have to.
I mean, obviously you can switch transducers and maybe that software is in there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Because I know with the all season it comes with both mounts. You get the ice mount and then you get the mount for your boat.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's any difference with the head unit or not.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah, because it'd be kind of cool.
Because I'm sure you can buy the ice mount separately.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Vexilar, but it would be cool to have that option too.
Right. For sure. I like it other than the battery usage.
Yeah. I just looked up the actual name of mine because I just pulled that one out of my ice hole. It's the Garmin Striker 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of a budget unit, but it works.
Hey, it worked pretty good. I was looking at it the other day. It was showing what ours was showing.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I use the Big Buddy heater, typically with the hose hooked up to the 20-pound tank, but I couldn't find it, so I just had to use the two smaller tanks.
Right.
But it does, for a day trip, if it's not too cold, it'll work on the 2 1-pound cylinders, but that's what I use to heat my house with.
Well, yeah, I use the Big Buddy heater too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know some guys will take that smaller garage
The sunflower heater.
or even a sunflower. Yep, I used to fish with.
Yeah, we used to use those in the 90s. Those things are dangerous.
Yeah. Well,
they work, but they're dangerous.
I know I've burnt a pair of gloves, flashlight, and what else have I burned on top of my buddy heater thinking, I put this up here to stay warm and forget about it. Or it falls and lands on it.
Right.
Melted the zipper off of Jimmy's Humminbird.
Yeah. The Big Buddy did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. It was a little too close.
So what's your go-to rod?
Me? I like the beaver rods. I think L&M must sell them. I don't know.
Okay.
I have a couple customs that I had made with wooden handles and stuff, but I just like it simple. I don't take care of my rods, so I don't buy anything super expensive usually because I end up breaking the tips off them or something.
Yeah.
But those are the ones I like to use is the beavers.
Yeah, I just kind of, my favorite rod that I have now is the Fish 13. And I can't think of what model of it is, but that's my favorite one right now.
Yeah.
And I have a really nice reel on it and whatever. So I don't know. That's kind of my go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got just a mix of rods, but the one that I always go for first, it's a Fenwick. Couldn't tell you the model. It's got a Frable reel on it.
Yeah.
It's a panfish rod. I think it's like 2 to 6 pound line on there. But yeah, it works great.
Yeah. So for bobbers, do you guys use the slip bobbers with the foam, or do you guys use bobbers?
I do the spring bobber that attaches to the rod.
That was cool.
Yeah, it's very sensitive.
And I generally don't use a bobber. I just don't like tying stuff.
I didn't for quite some time, but then I went fishing with Butch a few times, and he always had those, and he'd bite off the ends, that way it'd be the right weight and stuff for his lure, and it seemed like he could always catch more. He probably did, but it always just seemed like he was getting, especially when the fish were real finicky, he could always get that bite, and I couldn't. So then I started using those, and then with that real finicky bite, it sure seemed to help me.
Yeah.
So then I switched. I remember one night I was sitting in the living room and I started switching everything over, tying up recutting and tying, and it took forever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, seems to work.
Well, those little spring bobbers that I use, I've got the one that clips on partway down your rod and sticks up above it. You thread the line through that and then out the end tip of the rod.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, super sensitive. You can detect the smallest bite on that thing. And what I like about it is I have found that using actual bobbers in the water, sometimes with those more finicky bites, that bobber recoil almost.
Oh,
Pull that hook right out of the fish's mouth.
Okay.
I suppose.
And that spring bobber doesn't.
Doesn't.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Bobber recoil. I like that.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something
always
new we
get
came
into
up with.
I think
tonight.
I just coined that term.
I think you did bobber recoil.
Only a deer hunter would think of that.
There you
Right?
go.
That's why deer hunters make the best ice fish runs.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. It
I
all
think that's
comes
going to be
back
the
around.
title of this episode.
It's like a circle.
Here you
It's
got
like a circle
Yeah.
You got a guy here shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor talking about recoil.
from a bobber.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. He can feel
Man,
that.
that thing kicks. I better bite the end off of it.
I don't like those round bobbers. They've got too much recoil. I've got to use the vertical ones.
No, I like a naked line myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got the right rod,
Exactly.
Yes.
naked line is by far the
Yeah, I
best.
wouldn't do
Yep.
that. Yeah. You know, something else that we have to do is head up and do some trout fishing, lake trout.
That would be. I have never caught a lake trout through the ice.
I've caught one. And it was a beautiful one too, and it was up on Burnside and Neely. And I'd like to go up there every year because I have the rough idea where they are, and it's a good time.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I said we do that
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a strong enough rod.
I have a couple of them.
Do you?
Yep.
Actually, I think the very first rod I bought, I think that was probably
A little bit overkill.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
I remember
Ed Brewer
I showed up
rod.
ice fishing, and I think Butch, the guy I was fishing with, he goes, "What are you fishing for?" I go,
Bought a sturgeon rod.
pretty much. I mean, the thing was like 28 inches long and stiff as a 2x4. And he goes, "Yeah, good luck with that." I go,
I don't know.
"I don't know. It was on sale. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
It was red."
Yeah, it's a good time going up there and fishing the deep water. I mean, even in these mine pits around here,
Yeah.
a guy could try. I don't think there's a terrible lot of luck in them, but I've had the best luck up on Burnside and Neely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think we just need to hop around to a bunch of lakes this winter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished. I have this makeshift setup now for spearing out of my portable hub.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to get out and be able to hop around to different lakes and try that out.
Yeah.
So do you have one of those big ice chisel cutter?
Ice saw?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. You got the folding ice saw. And then for like the actual rigging for the decoys, I used a ABS pipe with 3 inline reels attached to it. It's pretty slick. I've got those like rubber reusable twist tie things, gear ties that attaches to my poles and my hub. And yeah, it seems like it's going to be great. So I'm excited to get out trying it.
Till Northern catches one of your decoys and
Right.
starts going off and pulls that hub down, hits you in the head, you fall in the big hole. Bye-bye, dirt.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I've been smacked in the head with a hub popping in one time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that
I
hurts.
think we all probably have.
Yeah. You ain't fishing till you get popped in the head with a hub style house.
Right. Hub junction.
Have either of you ever fallen through the ice?
I've dropped the tip of a boot. But that's why I prefer the 8-inch hole, because I've seen guys with the 10-inch hole drop their whole foot in it up to their crotch.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aiden fell through a few years
One of
ago.
mine,
Of course, I mean, he was a smaller foot, but it was still a 10-inch hole, and he went all the way up to his crotch. He's like, "Yep, okay, time to go."
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But
I
no.
have not. Bill has.
Yeah.
Going across, I think it was it Red or Winnie? I can't remember. He went through on a pressure ridge vehicle.
Wow. Oof.
Yeah, because what happened is it was windy out there. They got out and their house blew away. So they got in their vehicle and they're chasing their house going across the lake.
no.
3-4 of these people in there, I guess. And they hit a pressure ridge. Vehicle went down. Luckily, every one of them jumped out and made it out.
Yep.
But they ended up on opposite sides of the pressure ridge.
Mhm.
And they're freezing, obviously. Middle of the night. So each one just picks a light on the lake and walks towards it.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, everybody was fine, but yeah, sketchy.
Oh,
Wow.
But yeah, he said he had to like jump out the window on the roof of the vehicle and just jump on the ice. So
they have to get one of those recovery cranes.
yeah,
out
I'm
there
sure
for the
they must
vehicle.
have. I'm sure they must have.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
But
about
I've
you?
been lucky enough. I'm pretty leery about that. So I usually don't drive out
Yeah.
with any size vehicle until January.
Yeah.
This time of year, I'd take my Jeep out maybe, but I never take my truck out. It's too heavy.
Yeah. I pretty much just stick to the 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
I've driven not my truck out further on the ice, but I've driven my father-in-law's truck. We drove in a 3/4 ton, and we would drive it out. But it would be January. We'd be pushing 2 feet or more of ice.
Yeah.
I drove my F-150 out quite a bit, but I always waited till 20 inches.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yep, I'm just,
Right.
and yep, I get it. There's no ice is safe ice and this and that, but I always stayed on the roads and made sure,
Right.
at best I could, obviously.
Well, yeah, you got to be safe out there because right now, what did we have at the lake we were on Sunday? 13 inches?
We had 13
the most.
And they were saying we were making about an inch a day during
really?
those cold temps. So I would guess we're closer to 15 now.
Well, what was it, yesterday or the day before? I left work and I drove around McKinney Lake there.
Yep.
There was a 3/4 ton Dodge with the trailer on the ice.
Jeez.
And he was coming off the lake.
Wow.
I was like, that guy is brave.
Cojones.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a small lake, but still.
Yeah. Brave man.
Yeah.
Braver than me.
I'm just glad that we have ice this year because we didn't make it out at all last year.
No.
Because it was just so shitty. We had
was horrible.
We had a good start and we got all that snow.
Yep.
And it
And
just,
rain.
Yep, and it just wrecked. I know there's a lot of guys that were going out, later season, but I don't know. I just no thanks.
Right. But yeah, I would like to get out more this year
Yeah.
because that fish tasted delicious and I need more.
I'm eating mine tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm not eating.
Yeah. You you didn't get a pike, did you, Gene?
No, I'm just going to eat ice.
You could have some venison.
Yeah, I've got some. I'll eat some venison.
There you go.
Yeah. Augers. So I have an it's not old, but older gas auger. It's a laser something. Not 100%, but anyways, I don't like it.
Well, yeah,
The damn
gas.
thing since day one has just been a cold-hearted pig that I want to throw it before, and then it finally starts running, and you start thinking, "Oh yeah, I got this thing," and then it dies, and then you can't get it started.
Yeah.
So
And that's why I switched to electric.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I bought a Ion.
Yep.
And I got rid of that. Then I went to propane, I think.
Yeah, you did.
And I did like that. That one was good, but it was heavy.
Yeah, but they do zip through the ice.
They do. I had that one for a while, and now I have a Strike Master electric,
Yeah.
the 48 volt, which I like. So a little bit heavy, but for my kind of fishing, it's fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going to a propane. I just don't want to do the gas anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I've got just it's an Eskimo auger with the clam drill plate on it, and then Milwaukee drill. And, that thing, it works great. The key, if you're going to use the drill plate, is quality big batteries.
Yeah.
The batteries that come with your Milwaukee drill are not going to cut it. You got to get the big ones. And then I would recommend paying the extra. It's significant, but pay the extra to get the Milwaukee brand batteries. I got mine off eBay or Amazon or something, and there's some aftermarket brand, and they work, but the Milwaukee ones will zip through the ice.
yeah.
But yeah, I love that thing. It's so light, small.
That's what I like about it is just being a small footprint so you can haul out more stuff. Because whenever you go ice fishing, you're inevitably bringing so much stuff. You're bringing so much stuff.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how much we have to
Chairs and locators and augers and
ice scoops, which we forget. I forgot.
beer. Right?
which you forgot.
We did not bring beer.
Might have forgotten on purpose.
Yeah. Good thing you got a good friend.
Right.
Right, it's a good thing.
Next time we'll definitely bring some Shell's Deer Brand beer.
Yes. Can't go ice fishing on my shells. Deer brand beer.
That was a great commercial.
I thought
Dino.
so too. Because deer hunters,
Make the best ice fisherman.
there you go. Especially with Shell's Deer brand beer. They better give us a phone call. It's probably a stop and just says phone call. Quit talking about us.
Right. Do not mention us ever again, please.
Yeah. But no, I've been looking at the electric augers for the last few years, especially since you had yours. And I was told that I don't fish enough to warrant getting one. Well, you just fish with Jim anyways. Well, yeah, but there might be a time that I don't fish with him.
He can borrow mine, Christy.
That's right.
Yeah, I never fish without him anyways.
Well, it's always nice to have two when you're
Well, it is.
punching.
You should always bring
6 or
two
more
because
holes.
if one decides not to work,
Exactly.
as well.
And let me tell you, I've used a hand auger,
Oh yeah.
and
it's
I was
brutal.
punching through 13 inches,
Yeah.
and I wanted to die. And this was 18 years ago, and I was more fit and not buff, but more fit.
Yeah.
And I about died then.
Right.
Well, and I do most of my ice fishing by myself. And
Yeah, you
so
do.
I just keep my handle for my hand auger in the sled. And then that way, if for some reason the drill dies or it's not working, I just pop that off. And
Well, there, at least you have
I got the
emergency
hand auger.
backup.
Yeah.
and I have had to use it, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days. It takes quite a while to get a hole drilled.
Right.
You appreciate it. You don't do hole hopping much with that setup.
No.
We're
It's
getting soft.
We are getting
Yeah.
stuff. Well, I'm old.
It's like now, when you're in a house and there's just even 2 or 3 of it, you're punching a hole to fish out of, a hole for your locator, a hole for this, a hole for that. And it's like, yeah, but with the hand drill, you're fishing out of the same hole that you got your locator in.
Right.
Mm.
There's 3 of us and we're sharing that.
Exactly.
Well, I've got one of those like live well nets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to punch a hole for that too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
you
seen
do.
some of those.
Another thing I want to do is, I'd like to do is camp on the ice
That would be cool. Like in
Yep.
the
In the
portable
hubs.
or in
in the portable.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Like
It's
go
fun.
someplace to a northern lake where you can go out there and actually literally sleep on the ice and fish.
I've got
I know
those
it's getting
mats.
more and more popular. Yeah, those.
I've got those mats that we could use
Mhm.
that I had in my basement. They're really nice. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I don't know if we would have gotten much sleep on the lake we were on.
Oh,
That was
ice
so
was
loud.
loud.
that was the noisiest lake I've been on in a long time.
It's making ice.
It was making ice. It was making
was
me pee
growing
my
for sure.
pants.
Mhm.
I think I peed my pants almost twice on that thing.
I think
Yeah.
you did too. Actually,
Yeah. Yep. I tried to jump
I
out
heard
of the.
heard a few Hail Marys coming
Oh
from you.
Right.
man,
well, that one time we actually sank a couple inches.
we did.
Yeah, we did.
That was no lie. You grabbed my leg on that one. I'm trying to grab for the zipper on the door.
We sank, and then that ice had some recoil, and we came back up.
Recoil. Yep.
I was like, God damn.
So, what is one piece of equipment that you won't go fishing without that you cannot forget? Not counting your house, your auger, your heat.
Or your fishing device.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Rod or whatever.
Yep. What's one thing that you?
Can we say sonar or locator?
I would. You could
I mean, if that's
because
your answer.
there are still people that don't use them.
Right.
Yeah.
Not
If I
very many.
left that at home, I wouldn't be too bummed about it.
No.
It's nice for me. I mostly use my sonar fish finder just to see the depth that I'm in.
Right.
You know, if I'm on a new lake, I don't know the area, and I know I want to find 10 feet of water, or I want to find 30 feet of water, depending on what I'm fishing for.
Right.
That's all I use that for. But so let's assume I know the lake, I know where I'm going. I don't really need that.
Okay.
If you know the lake, yeah.
You know,
Right.
What is it, Jared? Then what do you need to bring?
Yeah. What won't you forget?
I'm gonna go with a headlamp.
Good one.
I'm gonna go with comfortable chair.
Yes. I like
Because a
both
lot of
your
times you're
answers.
just sitting around looking at the hole.
Yep. And if you're not comfortable looking at that hole, it gets your back
Right.
hurts.
You don't have a digital device to look at in that hole.
Right.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I like the sonar is it gives you something to look at when you're not catching fish for hours on end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, I don't know. You guys pretty much nailed it.
Either that or beer.
Yeah, probably beer is one of the most important things,
Yeah.
honestly. For
I thought that was implied with like the essentials that you already
Oh,
listed.
that very well could be.
That probably should be with ice fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said your shelter. Mine is just an empty case of beer. I just put that on my head and try to stay warm.
It's like a damn ostrich out there. Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, you guys got
Snacks
the
are
good ones.
good.
Snacks,
Beef
a little
jerky.
radio, or even
Yeah.
a backup battery for your phone, because if that way you keep yourself entertained, at least with searching social media, taking pictures of all the fish you're catching, or listening to the radio, watching the game.
Right.
So I'm going to say, we'll just say battery power bank.
Power bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For you to do all your tweets.
I don't think you ever brought one, though.
No, I didn't. I do have a list on my phone because I was making a list that day. Okay, what did I forget? Ice scoop, hose for heater, and then there's a few other things. I was like, damn it, I got to get this stuff
You're
together.
so organized.
I try to be. It's easier.
Right.
I did have a power bank with us out there, but only because it's rechargeable hand warmer that doubles as a power bank.
Yeah,
That thing is
I've got
pretty
one of those
slick.
too.
Yeah.
Although, is your light
And
one? Because you
flashlight.
bring a light with a fan on it, don't you?
I usually have a light with a fan that I can stick on the top of the hub, and let me tell you, that is glorious at times.
Yeah.
Help circulate, and then especially if you're all three, because we've had to where the three of us were kind of sitting back to back in the middle,
Right.
fishing on the edges, and then that fan and light really helps because you always get, because obviously the heater's not in the middle, so somebody's getting hot,
Right.
and everything else. So yeah, that works out really good. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, if you're listening, comment below. What is your
Right.
essential piece of ice fishing equipment that you will not go out without? Hopefully somebody says ice picks. I was hoping one of us.
You're
would.
actually the only person I've ever seen bring those things.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had them. I don't know where they're at.
I've never.
Well, I didn't answer the question earlier, but I have fallen through the ice.
Oh, really?
That's right.
Luckily, it was only like chest deep,
Oh,
so
gee.
I didn't fully need the ice picks to get out. But I was glad I had them. It made it easier.
Really?
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's good advertisement for them.
Right?
Get your ice picks. Or you can just get those flotation suits now. I don't know how well they work, but
I've heard they work really well.
yeah.
They work to keep you floating,
But not get
but they don't help you get out.
But
of the
I would think it
hole.
would help because it's going to help lift you, though.
Oh, like the recoil from your
The
flotation.
recoil.
Recoil.
Yes.
The bobber recoil.
The bobber
That's a new
recoil.
term
Yeah.
we came up today. Bobber recoil.
Yeah.
We got to come up with some recoilless bobbers.
I think we need to start our own bobber company.
Right.
Recoil Bobbers.
Yep.
Recoilless bobbers.
Recoil Bobbers Inc.
There we go.
Boom.
Yeah.
We're going to start it tonight.
Yeah, if anybody has any spots that we should try to go fishing,
For big
Or-
pike,
yeah.
that'd be great.
or
Yeah.
you want to invite us down to come fish with you,
Or up.
or up,
Mm-hmm.
or over,
Yeah.
Or under.
wherever.
Wherever.
Yeah. I mean, we might just bring our shells, Deer Brand beer.
We'll provide the beer. You provide the fish house and the fish.
Yes,
I'll bring the ice picks.
there you go.
Thanks, Pig.
I'll bring the battery pack.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Another thing we're thinking of, live scopes.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't even have one on my boat. So but I know a lot of people do. But I don't know. You guys ever used them?
I have never.
Never used them. I don't know how I feel about them.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if we're talking about ice fishing and hunting, deer hunters make the best ice fishermen. And we have these rules around fair chase when it comes to deer hunting, and you can't even use your cellular trail camera to change your hunting plan at a moment's notice, right? Live scopes almost feel like they're approaching that same
Right. And
line
I've
to
never
me.
even used one, so I really don't know. Are they really that good?
I know a number of fishing guides in the area
Yeah.
that say they are deadly. Like
Really?
if you want to destroy a fishery in a lake, give everyone a live scope.
See, now that makes me want to try one now, actually.
I know.
It's like, are they that good? Come on.
And
no.
I've got one of the old, and it's obviously not live scope, but the old video camera, not video camera, but
Oh, Aquaview.
camera, Aquaview.
Yeah.
I've got like Gen 1 Cabela's.
Yeah, but you can only see like 3 inches from the camera.
They're getting better, but the one I have, you can't even see 3 inches, dude. I mean, it's actually got the TV screen that weighs 30 pounds, and but it works if you're in a good area. But the problem with mine is I can never see which way I'm pointing because I didn't spend the money to get the thing that would spin around. But I've seen guys with the other live views, the cameras that are that thing is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're not really catching anything, you can't pick anything up on sonar. It's like, okay, what is, or you're getting all these little bites.
Mhm.
We threw the camera down there. It's like, oh, no wonder. It's all itty bitty, fingerlings and
Right.
shit like that. So,
I mean, some of those, it's like you're watching an episode of Planet Earth or something.
Yeah,
with
it
the
is
quality
so cool.
of those images.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think where they really come in handy, and that's where people have concerns, is you're getting those little bites and you're like, well, when do I set the hook? Well, you got a live scope. You can see when that hook's in its mouth.
yeah.
Right.
Set the hook now,
Yeah.
never miss a fish again.
Yeah. I might have to check it out, just see. So I know how I feel about it.
Yeah. I'm with you. If they're going to restrict trail cam use and talk about
And
that,
I agree with
yeah.
that. If it's that good,
Mm-hmm.
if it makes that big a difference, then yeah, I get it. But
But I agree with your point too. Like, we shouldn't really knock it till we try it.
right.
I'm just going off of reports from a number of very reputable guides in the area
Right.
that have
But you
told me
know-
they hate them.
That's also why deer hunters make the best ice fishing.
Because we think about things like fair
Exactly.
chase.
Right. Fair chase. Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. See,
Way to
we
bring
can-
it back to the end.
Right. It's like a
that.
circle.
It's like a circle.
It's like a circle, kind of
It's
like
like
an
a
ice
circle.
hole.
It's like they are circular, aren't they?
And on this episode of Shapes with Dino,
That should be our next one. Squares are tough for me. I prefer circles.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, thanks for sitting and listening, or driving and listening to us while
Yeah.
we chat about ice fishing.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know what we're going to talk about next time, but we'll think of something.
We'll think of something. Next week we have 2 guests, I think. Or is it next week and the following week? Because upcoming we have Sam,
Oh yeah.
and then we have a Canadian coming down.
yeah. Canadian wolf
Hunter.
hunting guide.
Yeah.
Blanking on his name.
I like
No,
how,
I think it's Andrew.
I like
Andrew.
how on my calendar it says Canadian wolf hunter.
Right. Yeah, very helpful.
Right.
With the
It's like-
calendar invite
yeah,
there.
that didn't help us a whole lot. That is awesome.
But no, I'm looking forward to that episode. I think it'll be really interesting.
Well, yeah. It's the first international episode of Down the Barrel.
Ooh,
Yeah.
internet. I like that.
Yeah.
Internet. We've gone international.
We've gone international.
DTB
We're
international.
making it big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's coming down across international borders
Just
to
to see
sit with us.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm told he just got his passport just to come here
I think so.
to do an interview with us.
I mean, I would.
I wonder. Should we stamp his passport?
we should.
Mm-hmm. We should get a stamp.
I think we should
DTB
sign
stamp. We should sign
it.
it.
Sign it. Yeah.
All right.
We haven't signed too many foreheads yet.
No.
I'm going to sign a Canadian passport.
There we go. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be
Just
awesome.
invalidate it.
Right. He won't be able to go
He'll be
home.
stuck
Yeah.
here.
Guys.
That don't look official. Why does it smell like whiskey?
Yeah, I told Dean not to touch it.
Right. So yeah, have a listen, follow, like, subscribe. I think we're up to like 1,000 subscribers now.
I know.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, boom.
And definitely let us know in the comments, because I'm curious, what is that one piece of equipment that you will not go ice fishing without?
Right.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association has been building our hunting and conservation legacy over the past 40 plus years through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation in Minnesota for Minnesota.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and Wolf Report proudly sponsor this podcast. However, please note that the opinions, topics, and guests featured may not necessarily align with the views, beliefs, goals, or missions of our sponsors.
The views expressed by Jimmy and Dino and podcast guests are solely their own and do not represent the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and Wolf Report.